Click record. And 3, 2, 1. Thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. This is Eric and Drew with this episode. Kyle is off somewhere. Eric has theories on where he might be, but I can't really divulge that information. So
Yeah, it's that corporate whistleblower thing. I'm pretty sure it's witness protection.
pretty sure he's 99% sure that that's what's going on.
I think code for new house was actually away in Montana.
Our friends in Montana that listen, no disparaging marks
No,
there.
just know that we think that that would be a safe place to hide.
That would be a good place to hide. Lots of land,
Yeah.
lots and lots of land. Well, we've got some interesting news. We thought comic numbers had gone the way of the dodo, and we were no longer going to see sales numbers anymore from anyone. Lunar keeps theirs pretty close to the vest. Doesn't share a lot of those, and occasionally they'll leak one if they like it. We're not sure what random Penguin Random House is doing, but Diamond woke up from its year long slumber and decided to release their data. And we've got some people crunching those numbers and getting them out to people. And we're seeing some numbers. And I think the Comic Con guy actually does some estimates of DC. I don't know where he comes up with it, where he just kind of like shoehorns DC numbers in. But they're not really based on anything legit that I can suss out when I look at where his information's coming from. But what we do have concrete wise is Venom just going bonkers at the top of the list with now I've lost my numbers here. Hold on. What was the number? There it is.
Venom 35.
200
Yep.
282,000 units for Venom, and that's the 200th issue. We know it was going to sell pretty well, but I didn't know it was going to sell that well. Did you? Did you see that coming with a $10 book?
Yeah, absolutely. With the artists that they put on it, it definitely was going to be a big one. There was multiple covers. It's a $10 book. But it was definitely prestige format, and just like the second place book, Spawn Universe, which by the numbers here sold 204,000. Again, you had an all-star list of creators doing covers, you know, milestone issues, first issue for Spawn Universe, 200th issue for Venom. So these are big things, and you just take those two items and multiply them by the cover price. It's a significant component of this month's numbers. I mean, 10% of the
Oh yeah.
red bar, the all but DC, 10% of that is Venom alone, right? Because that's 2.8 million by the time you do the math. And then if you do the math for Spawn Universe, which I can vamp long enough to type, that's another 1.23 million. So,
Yeah.
you're at 30% or more of just the red bar there is in two titles. So, take that for what it is. Our comics selling better than they have ever before? Yeah, yeah. I think that's what we talked about a couple weeks ago when I was on. Was that we'd said we've had the best start to a year ever. Comics are up. People are interested in the properties, and it's a mix of a lot of things. It's a mix of people that came back to comics during the pandemic because they couldn't go out and spend their entertainment money somewhere else. That stuff is slowly starting to come back, but still not what it was. And people have been hooked. You've got, people that have been getting additional monies for whatever purpose it may be, unemployment, things like that. and they're choosing to spend some of their extra money at the store. And then you've got the speculators, and that market has boomed as the secondary market went completely ballistic. Same with sports cards and pretty much every other collectible item during the pandemic. So you have more people coming in from that. So everything is up, which is great. Really, that's the end game. There's an argument that can be made for speculators versus readers, and for me, it all comes down to if we're selling books and we're moving units, there's more in the ecosystem, and that's ultimately the goal.
Yeah, yeah. And it sounds like there's enough of a percentage of people that maybe dipped their toe back into comics over the last year and a half and liked what they saw and maybe and continue to come back. So that's great. We've been trying to figure out ways to get people to read comics for the 10 years prior to the pandemic, and we we're we're going woe is me and sky is falling and oh what's going to happen to the industry. Well, I think the industry's getting healthy, and um, new people are coming into it for whatever reason, and hopefully they're staying because they enjoy what they read.
Yeah, and I think that the real proof of the pudding is going to be give it a year to 18 months from now, and then we'll kind of see. If numbers go back down to where they were kind of pre-pandemic, then we're going to know that it was obviously an artificial inflation. Um, the other thing that's really tough with some of these charts is that they can only report the realistic data that's provided, and that is the cover prices. If there was to be some normalization over these things with average cover price and things like that, maybe we would see the bars adjust a little bit. But, by and large, you got to remember most DC books are now in that 4.99 range, then 5.99 if you've got the cardstock cover. Marvel has pretty much line wide gone to 4.99 for all number ones, and then for anything that's over kind of their standard amount of pages, it's going to be 4, 5, or 6.99. One shots are between 5.99 and 9.99 for them, and even a lot of the books kind of going towards the back half are starting to creep up higher as well. So you're seeing an overall price inflation, and I think that's bearing out in the marketplace of dollars that we're seeing too. And then the other thing, I guess, one more thing to for store owners more than anybody else to really think about is as prices go up, the margin, if it stays the same, you're going to make a little bit more money because, 50% margin or a 40% margin on the book, you're going to get a few extra pennies. But now we've got other distributors coming in like Penguin Random House that are going to reset a lot of people's discounts. So just a lot of things happening. It's good to see the numbers come back. It's interesting to see where the market is, but I would like to see a little bit further work to help understand the data to show year over year health, not just dollars. What is it as far as, what's the average dollar per unit? So one of the things that James and I do when we look at our sales and we compare them, whether it's year over year for a month or, actually what we do is we do a rolling 5 year thing. So we'll look at June of 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017. And we'll look at a few key categories like new comics, trades, gaming, things like that. And we'll look at units sold and the total dollars that were sold for that. And we'll do a per unit average. And there's a couple of things that we like to see over time. We like to see a steady growth of units sold, which obviously should correlate to total dollars. But we also can start to then track trends. And one of the trends that we are definitely seeing is that the average price per unit is going up. And that bears itself out
Oh
in
yeah.
two ways. It's not only cover price, but as our business grows larger and larger and our orders get larger and larger, where when we first took over the store, it was a reach to get maybe one or two 1 in 25 ratios per week. Because when we took over the store, there was not much to take over. But now we're looking at, we may get the 1 in 500, the 1 in 200. All the 1 in 25s that go up to it. Most every title that has a 1 in 10 or 1 in 25, we're getting one or two of those easily per week. So we're also seeing that there's an increase in the dollars per unit as we get those coming in too. So that's how we use numbers. We match that up then to what John Mayo has, the comic book page, what Comicron has, whatever that is, and just to kind of look at, number one are the hot titles that they have are hot titles, and number two, looking at how the dollars shake out from current to historic, and are we seeing the same trends? So for whatever that's worth, a little insight into our way of looking at it.
That's interesting. So is the when you divide the units by and then by the price to see the what is it cost per dollar? What
Cost
is
per
that?
unit.
What was that? What do you call that?
Cost per unit.
Price,
Yeah.
cost per. So that's going up.
Hmm.
But is your with some of your deeper discounts is that actually is your actual cost going down? So is the profit going up on that?
So those are kind of two separate pieces of the house. The mail order is one business entity, and then the in-store is another. Mail order we look at differently. That one is more of just a straight dollars in, dollars out. What's our margin on that? And is it growing? Because like with mail order, we don't do gaming, we don't do a significant amount of action figures and statues. We don't do back issues. So that's a little bit different beast. But yeah, when we look in the store, we're obviously running a business, so profit is important. It keeps the lights on and keeps food on the table, kind of thing. Um, so what we're yeah,
But I guess you could just always assume that you're going to have so much of that your margin is at least X, and
right,
so you don't really have. I guess yeah, I got you.
right, and
Okay.
just for I think most everyone knows this, but just for kind of a baseline understanding, um, most comics the discount is going to be between 30 and 50% is the discount that retailers get. But we also have to factor in shipping costs that with most, well, pretty much everyone other than what Penguin Random House will be, we have to pay shipping to get stuff in. And then we've got the labor that goes into, putting it in your hold slot, getting it out onto the shelf, making sure it's in the computer system, all that. So new comics really, the margin isn't significant on them compared to a lot of other products that we may have or services that we have. So, the most pure profit that you're going to get in stores are if you're doing gaming and you have a table fee where folks can pay, a nominal price, would say $5 for the table for 2 hours, right? And that really all that $5 does is it just covers the cost that you have to clean up the room when they're done or that space. So if you've got three or four tables going, that's $20. Well, there's zero cost because the tables have been long paid for, and really all it is just whoever's at the store spending 10 minutes sweeping up or making sure the garbage gets taken out. Then you go to things like your back issues, where the way that most stores operate when they buy collections, they're going to pay more for the key books because naturally they're worth more. And at least the way we do it, we try and pay a higher percentage of the value for the key books than any of our competitors because we want to be fair. And we, explain to whomever is
Yeah.
selling them that, we still need to make a profit, but we'll pay you more for these because they're
When
important.
Grandma brings in her Action Comics #1, you say, "I will give you 10 times what the cover price says. Here's $1, Grandma, Granny. Now get out."
No, we would definitely do better than that. At least 12 times that cover price. Um, and here's a nickel for your trouble. And so, but no, then you've got like kind of that middle range. We'll call minor keys. Things that maybe aren't a first appearance, but they're like a McFarlane cover on a Spider-Man or something like that. That's not a 300. Sorry, I had to say it. Um, but
Yeah.
just like some of those other earlier McFarlane covers can maybe be 15, 20, $25, books. So we're going to give a little bit less than what we would for the keys, but still a decent amount. And then there's the other 85 to 90% of most collections that is kind of the chaff, the dollar books and the $1.99 books, and those you don't give so much. Well, by the time you average it all out, you have a higher margin on your back issues than you do on your new issues, because for those, you don't have to pay shipping, they're in the store, and generally you can recoup the cost of buying the collection by selling those keys, and they sell pretty quick. So we always watch and monitor the back issues to see how those sales are going. Again, doing the same thing, understanding what's our units, and then our dollars. So how many dollars per unit on average are we selling? How many units total, and then just kind of monitoring where we go. And that helps us also understand, oh, we had a down month on back issues. Maybe we don't have the right product out. Maybe we, need to get more, something like that. So it gives us indicators there. And then usually your lowest profit margin are going to be statues and things like that, or expensive figures, because they tend to be a net cost item. So there's no discount to it. There's some examples, things that we don't even advertise to sell often, would be, there's figures that have a net cost of $110, and the SRP that's advertised for them is $124.99. So
Oh my
that's a
goodness.
$14.99 profit, but we have to pay shipping to get it in, which sometimes can be $10 to $12 per item, depending how big and heavy they are. So it's like it's a $2 profit, right? So those are the tough ones.
Yeah. Sorry, kids. We're gonna that's gonna be over SR
And
over
that's the
retail.
challenge with a lot of those things is we really can't. Well, we could price them over SRP. We're not going to sell them, and so we just rather, unless it's a special order for someone, which if they special order it, we will always bring it in,
Oh
provided
yeah.
we can get it. But other than that, with those kinds of things, it's just not even worth it, because chances are some big, some big importer in California who's getting them sent directly from the factory in China right to him. He's selling them on Amazon for 99.99, and well, certainly can't match that because our net cost is higher than that. Um, so some of that stuff we just don't even bother to bring it in. But that's where the margin gets tight.
So now that you've accumulated 5 years of data and you can do that rolling
Hmm.
comparison, um, how's that? What what did you do back in the day when you were in the old shop and you had just taken over the store? What kind of numbers? How did you do comparisons and did you just like compare this week to last week and this month to last month and stuff like that?
Yeah, we learned pretty early on that when we took over the store, comparing our productivity to the previous team that had the store and their employees, it just wasn't an apples to apples comparison. The store was a comic store, but relied so heavily on gaming, and really didn't invest anything into comics, or even trying to expand any of it. So we realized early on there was no video games, which is a big thing we do. There was no vinyl, which is a big thing we do. There were no figures or statues, which is a part of our business. And so it was really just plainly obvious to us that we couldn't compare ourselves to the previous group. We could do a little bit of trending, for the first 12 months, to kind of say, like, well, how are we doing compared to them, knowing that we completely changed the kind of the dynamic and the way that the store was structured. And so we would look at that, but then really, to your point, it became kind of a week over week, a month over month. And then once we got into the second year, then it was okay, let's go back and look at what, you know, last January looked like compared to this January. And then it just kind of builds and builds. But it's tough when you completely change how the business functions, and you're just trying to look at those numbers to help you understand, are we going the right direction or not? I mean, that's really the biggest thing. And if you see, like, in this case, if you're looking at the chart on Comic-Con and you see like that red bar surpassing all of June 2019 with both Marvel and DC added in, and you're only looking at the red bar, which is the diamond component, if you're not seeing that same kind of return, you got to start asking questions about yourself, and, what did I miss? What am I not doing? Am I not taking advantage of the market opportunity that's in front of me? Um, so, yeah, that's how we use the numbers and how we kind of started, and where we're at now.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, looks like there were 6 comics over 100,000, which is always good. I mean, we've seen all 10 of them over 100,000 before. So, but we haven't seen multiple 200,000 in the top two for a while. So that's pretty cool. You mentioned Spawn earlier. It's 204,000 is returnable, but no, I doubt any of those are getting returned.
Yeah.
Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters, that first issue did almost 180,000 comics. That's pretty sweet.
A significant
That's a
portion
big
of those
number.
were exclusive covers as well. I believe those all count towards it because they are invoiced. So our
Yeah.
exclusive would be counted in that number.
And Berserker continues to amaze me that its third issue is also selling 145,000. That's
Also,
crazy.
also returnable with ratios.
Right, right. But I mean, that's still like 10%, right?
I think
They just
I can't
factor
remember
in
if they factored
10%.
10 or 20%, but either way, um,
Yeah.
yeah, we just won't talk Berserker.
Yeah, they might all get sent back, but I don't know. Boom's doing some interesting things. I was I sorted just to Boom and looked at some of they've got a lot of really strong selling
They
comics.
do.
And I don't know when that happened and where I was asleep at the wheel and didn't notice that they have that many comics that are selling significant numbers that really impressive. They've really built up quite a stable.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a mix of a couple of different things. Right time, right place. Obviously, with Berserker, you've got Keanu Reeves. Um, Somebody's Killing the Children has by far been their breakaway hit, I think, as far as
Oh yeah, oh
what's
yeah,
transpired. And
oh yeah. They still have some comics that are selling a couple thousand, units too. But they're much healthier than they were 3 years ago.
oh yeah, yep,
But then they've slotted in at the fifth spot Batman 109, and they're saying that maybe 130,000 for that. That's his guess.
yeah, and that makes sense because
Seems high.
I think it makes total sense. The Batman run has been one of the most consistent sellers we've had. On top of that, they are offering 1 in 25s. They have been for quite a while. So having ratio variance coming back into play on these books does help boost numbers.
Then we have Demon Days Mariko, that first issue, Mariko.
Hmm.
110,000. That surprises me. I didn't think it'd do that well.
This one
Everybody going
had
after.
a bunch of big artist
Yeah.
ratios on it, I believe.
Kind of a bummer. Nice House on the Lake sold 90,000 copies because the long term value on that's not going to be that great because of the number that's out there. But it's a great book, so well deserved.
I think the value is going to be there, to be quite honest. I mean, it's not going to be something that's killing the children, um, but I definitely think that this book has, all the potential to stay between 20 and 40, $50. It's definitely something that is more apt to be made into, a movie or a TV miniseries or something like that than a lot of the products that are on the shelf because it uses humans, which is always easier than, you know, anthropomorphic beings and other things. So I think that this one is definitely something that actually could continue to hold its value, and it's also a book that uh, 90,000, if that's the number. I mean, obviously it's a round number because they don't have the exacts, but let's just say it is 90,000. There's more than 90,000 people that want this book. So
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think
I
that
gotcha.
you've got that. Plus, it's divided across two covers. You have an A cover and a B cover. So, if you did a 60-30 split, let's just say, and you've got people that want both covers, well, now you can only, satiate 30,000 people. So I think that it's something that definitely has the staying power, personally.
Yeah. Rank 8 and 9, X Men and Planet Size X Men's first issue, X Men 21 and Planet Size X Men number 1, are within a couple hundred units of each other. So those X fans bought in lockstep those two books. except for maybe 600 of them. And rounding out the top 10 is Star Wars High Republic number 6, selling 85,000. So that's very healthy for that Star Wars book. I want to take a quick look over at the market share and see Marvel taking 41%. Now this is with DC lopped in there, so their estimates saying DC gets 27%. Image at 13, Boom at almost 7. That's a healthy number for Boom. Again, pushing 7%, very nice. And if you threw DC out, it'd be even higher. When Marvel leaves and goes to Random House, but they're still going to be able to be distributed through Diamond.
Right. Diamond
Do you
has an
think that?
agreement to be a wholesaler, so they will have an account with Penguin Random House just the same as we will.
You're right.
Yep.
Do you think there'll be enough shop owners that like I just want to get one box or one less box from one less distributor, and they'll just keep buying Marvel from Diamond?
Yeah, there's
Or
going to be a
is it
decent chunk, but I think they represent a small percent of the market. So like there'll be could be a significantly high amount of retailers or shop accounts that stay with Diamond to buy their Marvel. But I think the percentage of the market of Marvel product will be significantly less than the amount that goes over to Penguin Random House.
what I'm curious about is will there be enough that migrates that Diamond's top publisher will be Image, or Marvel will still have enough holdovers that Marvel will still be their market share leader, even though they're not their sole distributor anymore. That's what I'm really curious to
Yeah.
see, if Image can make that, because that's a huge leap, going from 13 to 40, and let's throw. I mean, it's like 50 some if you throw DC out of there, but so Image would have a lot of ground to make up, and I mean it'd have to be like almost 90% of their accounts went to Penguin Random House for their Marvel books. I think for that flip to happen, and I don't know that that's going to go completely wholesale like that.
Yeah, I'm just doing some quick math here, and um, yeah, you'd be looking at if we just take 40 as a round number. Um, yeah, so if 60% of the volume leaves, Marvel is still number one.
Yeah. How much? What was the
Sixty
percentage?
percent.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty. That's going to happen. I would imagine.
Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta figure there was the Diamond data leak that happened a couple of years ago, and I cannot for the life of me remember off the top of my head what the percentage was like that the top 10 accounts accounted for Marvel. But it was a very significant portion, and I can't remember if it was north of 50%, I believe, just the top 10 accounts, which obviously is your DCBS, your Midtown, your not your Mile High, your My Comic Shop, and a couple others.
That's amazing. So if this the top 10 of 2,500 accounts leaves, that's 50%.
Right, right.
That's amazing. Well, yeah. So let's look here. Let's see how. Let me take a look at and sort by publisher again and see what Image is doing. If I can get this toggle to work. Maybe it won't work. Maybe it won't work today. There we go. No, it's glitchy.
I was having that same issue.
Oh well, what are you gonna do with free information, right? Take a look at. Nope, can't get to them. There we go. There we go. It's sorted. Image topped the list with Spawn Universal. We already talked about that. And then the regular Spawn sold 76,000. Department of Truth 67. Uh, Geiger doing 46. Jupiter's Legacy doing 52. Noctera.
Yeah, that Jupiter's Legacy, though, we're going to see Crater on issue 2 because the show was canceled.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
that's going to be a bummer.
Um, Crossovers at issue 7 and continues to sell over 38,000. That's great.
Mhm.
Firepower at issue 12 selling over 35,000. Walking Dead Deluxe at 17 and only selling 30,000. It's good for
Here's a
me, but
question. What when we get to 19, what do we see for sales? Do we is
gotta be a spike,
yeah, is
right?
50 reasonable? Is it going to be 75? I mean, it had about 300 covers on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think we would get double, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't remember what number one sold. How many? How many that
I
one
don't think
sold
we
it?
ever got the
I
data
don't
for
know.
that.
Yeah, we never heard that. So, Stray Dogs finished up with 24,000 copies of its fifth issue. So that means, they're gonna be sought after for a
Oh
while,
yeah.
and those prices are gonna stay up there. Some good stuff here.
Is it a quality dad joke to say that the Stray Dogs fans are rabid?
I think that's top notch.
Lock it in.
Well, there were a ton. What are all these? Are these all Walking Dead Deluxe reprints? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So they all sold 5,000. Those were the ones with the faces, I
Yep,
think.
those are the Finch covers, correct.
Yeah, those were pretty underwhelming. But 6,000 people bought them.
Well,
Pretty
let's do
much.
some quick math on that. There's 220 of each of the 1 in 25s rolling around then. Let's say 200 to be safe. Because those had 125 black and white sketch versions.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's, yeah, yeah.
The same thing through one for 1 through 6. So yeah,
Give or take, though, because, some stores bought one set for somebody,
yep.
right? Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'm not sure if I want to look at any other of the smaller publishers or not, especially if it's acting glitchy. I think that's enough. It's cool that they're back. Unless you had something you want to touch on here when it
No,
comes to the numbers.
no, not really. I would love to get DC's hard numbers again, but I don't know if we're going to see that. I also don't know if we're ever going to see true Marvel numbers coming out of Penguin Random House, I should say. It'd be interesting to know, does Diamond even release Marvel data that, and they just qualify it by saying, uh, sales through direct market through Diamond. So, they already ignore stuff like Barnes and Noble, Amazon, Comixology, whatever
Yeah.
else. So
Right.
we'll
Right.
see what they
Well,
do.
they can only report what they can report. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, they're doing it as a service to their accounts by providing the ranked list, and then, I mean, in theory, that's where
Correct.
why it's being released. The data gets released. as a ranked list, weighted list for retailers to use.
Correct.
Somebody gets a hard number for one piece of data and then extrapolates, uses some algebra and extrapolates the rest of the numbers. They don't release those numbers. So
Correct.
there's nothing, they never actually release those numbers. They just
You get a list of the
get
titles
crunched
that
by somebody.
has a sales rank on it. Right.
Yeah. And they used to use Batman as the number one, but I don't think they do
I was
anymore.
just saying, I don't think they can.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what they use now, if it's Spider-Man or Spawn or whatever. But they always had one that was like, this is everything's in comparison to this steady big seller,
Correct.
and it was always Batman. And I don't know what it is now, so I'd be curious to see what that is. I guess I could look, but I'm not that curious. Did you want to talk about this tilting at windmills now?
No, I that
Before we.
was more for you
Uh,
to read later. That's the
oh,
article
okay.
that Hibbs wrote a couple of years back with the data leak talking about kind of the size of some of the accounts and stuff. And if anybody else wants
Oh,
to read that as well, it's Tilting at Windmills 277.
nice, nice. Yeah, and he's down a store now, I guess. So
Hmm.
yeah, so he's not like the brainiac store owner that everybody thinks he is, because he just lost a store.
Here's what I will say about Brian. Brian is well, he's had comics experience for what 20 years now, 18 years, something like that. He had a second location that he bought, and it was more of a periodical based location. He's more of a collected edition location. He has built his original comics experience to be kind of a think of it more as a bookstore than a comic store. Just that 80% or more of the contents in it are comic related collected editions. Um, he's definitely has some very valid points in the industry, and just like anything, there's just as many points I'll agree with, I'll disagree with on him. But it's just
Yeah,
how you choose to run your business. Now, he's got different factors at play. He's in downtown San Francisco, where there's, state mandated minimum wage that is almost double that of many other places. And he complains about the cost of books and the price of this and that. And as a retailer in a different state, you're kind of like, well, you choose to live there, you chose to have your store there. Like, I just because it's affecting you shouldn't mean that it has to affect me, kind of thing. So there's certain components where you're just kind of like, I can't relate to that, and I don't really have any, anything that I can help you with, and I'm certainly not willing to pay more because you want to pay more or something. So there's certain areas where I disagree, but there are a lot of areas that he will talk about where you can agree, and that's really, to me, those things center more around the numbers that he's looking at and what he's kind of pulling from and making very educated and experience driven statements and assumptions based on how he's seen the industry move over the last 15, 20 years, and his experience as a retailer. And you really can't discredit him for the simple fact that he has been one of the few retailers who not is just outspoken, but is rather articulate when it comes to speaking out. There's a lot of retailers that talk, and even fellow retailers go, "Geez, just you're not helping our image. Just be quiet." But when Brian puts it pen to paper and he writes something, you may not agree with it, but it's thought out. It's articulate. It's written well, and it stirs discussion, and that's what half of it is meant to do. Whether it's the right discussion or not, I guess is beauty's in the eye of the
yeah,
beholder. Um, but you have to respect Brian for the position he's earned in the industry, and probably put him on the Mount Rushmore
right.
of comic retailers.
Even though he's got one shop, but okay.
He did. Hey, I will say he was able to sell the second store. There was a couple of guys that came in and bought it, so it's not like it went kaput. He did do a Tilting Windmills about that as well, and why he was letting it go. And it ultimately was because he wants to run a bookstore, not a comic store, periodical store. So just didn't fit his model, and he was sick
Right.
of the aggravation. And he's a person who doesn't believe in back issues. He doesn't believe that they're worth the amount
Right.
of energy that goes into
So
it.
so he's not a real shop owner. He's just he's got his little boutique bookstore. That's great. It doesn't have anything to do with real comic shops. Real comic shops have back issues, key walls, single issues, new releases, floppies. That's a comic shop. I don't care what you say.
That's my belief.
You can't just have a trade shop. A trade shop is a bookstore.
Right. That's kind of the belief that we have and how we set up our store. But each person's going to look at it differently. I would agree with you though. One of the things that James and I have always said that you know more than 60% of our business should be single issues or collected editions. It has to be a mix of the two. It can't just be one or the other because you got to have balance.
Right.
Everything in life requires balance. Um, but yeah, for us, and I think the other store owners who do back issues and do them, at a significant volume, or at least enough of a volume that they're reaping the rewards of it, will tell you it is worth every bit of energy you put into it. Yeah, it requires a lot more work in some instances, but the margin is so much higher. And
The margin is great. Yeah.
yeah, and one of the things that happened during the pandemic, there was a slew of videos done. I think Dan Shaheen, I can't remember what his YouTube channel is, but he was doing different interviews with folks. Steve Jeppy was one of them. He did a roundtable with retailers, and it was kind of a Chuck Rosansky from Mile High Comics was one of the folks, and then there were three other industry folks. And it was really like a three versus one where the three other industry folks all abhor back issues. They don't like it. They don't find the value. They just want to sell the newest, shiniest things and statues. And Chuck, of course, to prove a point, is sitting in his warehouse with literally racks and racks and racks and racks of comics behind him as far as the eye can see. And he just kind of holds up his arms and he goes, "Here's the beauty of it, guys. When your distributor closes down, you've got nothing new. I have all of this. I own it. It's mine, and I can choose to pull it out whenever I want." And that's exactly the model that we have is, yes, we want the balance of the new and the old, but if the new ceases to exist or distributor shuts down, I can keep my business going for a long time with the inventory I have here.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, let's blow out some of these. Fill your runs in.
yep, yep,
Come on in. Read something you haven't read before.
yep.
Yeah, it's great. All right, let's slide over to. Well, before we slide over to cover price, since we've got Eric here, we got to thank him again for he hooked up our existing patrons, and he has pledged to provide new patrons with a full, is it 3 or 4 cover set for Shadow Man number 4.
It is going to be the full cover set of the trade dress for all 4 issues of Shadow Man, 1 through 4, all by Jenny Frison. So the first one is Shadow Man, the second one is Baron Samedi, the third one is Punk Mambo, and the fourth one is our new character. So you'll have to get the book and read it to find out
Oh,
about
it's
that.
even cooler than what I thought it was.
Yep.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
I will
So
be honest and say I have yet to hook up the existing patrons. I have the stack of books here. I do have the list of names for you. I need to run the random generator. And for those of you that are patrons, the couple of folks that are, you will get a patrons only video of the actual matching up. So you'll get to see what is coming your way.
is it ping pong balls?
No, I'm not as cool as the lottery. It's just going to be a spreadsheet that has a little mix and match algorithm in it that will spit out a random combination of a book set and a name.
That's incredibly generous of you. They appreciate it. We appreciate it here, of course. And we're waiting for the new patrons because you get that sweet thing he was just talking about, and a lot of Jenny Frison original exclusive art, and in addition, you get entered into. We have another CGC 9.8 giveaway in the fall. So you're gonna get the new thing, and you get entered in a chance to win the CGC 9.8 in the fall. So prizes, prizes, prizes. Just come in and be a patron. You get hooked up with our Slack channel. You get to listen to episodes first and early, and sometimes exclusively and only uh, as a patron. And lots of good swag, lots of fun stuff coming your way. And we continue to expand and add to it. So get on Patreon, look for Comics for Fun and Profit, and please, please, please be a patron. It pays. It pays to be a
And
patron.
and don't forget, I mean, lodging and travel for Kyle while he's on the lam is not cheap. So we've got to make sure that he's not just stopping at little roadside digs. He's, we need him getting his beauty rest.
He it's like those old movies where there'd be a bunch of people carrying the person on the little private buggy. That's Kyle being transported across the country. Someone's feeding him grapes and bonbons.
Right. That's why he's got the kids,
All
the
right,
fans and everything. They've got palm fronds that they're waving at him. I like
exactly,
it.
exactly. Now let's slide over to cover price. You want the top 10 or the bottom 10?
Yeah, dealer's choice. You tell me what you want me to do.
I'll take the top 10 because there's a Moon Knight in it. Um, at rank 10, we have Something is Killing the Children, number one, the local comic shop day foil cover. Because, that was, I think, $7. And I was like, I don't know. Is it worth $7? And now it's selling for $225 as a CGC 9.8. So I was wrong. Rank 9, we have Shuri number one from 2018. $52 for a raw copy. That's nice. Sold 10 copies. Of course, Spawn number one from 1992. 28 copies moved, and got $256 for a CGC 9.8. You can still find these out there, folks, pretty reasonably. The Nice House on the Lake number one. We were just talking about this. 43 copies of this moved, and I had a high sale of $175 for a CGC 9.8. The Marvel Now .1 number one from 2012. We haven't seen this for a while, but it does have first appearance of America Chavez in the Marvel 616 universe. And it sold 30 copies and had a sale of $25 for a raw copy. Amazing Spider-Man 209 from 1980. This issue features the first appearance of Calypso, a voodoo priestess, who played a key role in McFarlane's Spider-Man Torment storyline. As a love interest of Kraven in the comics, rumors are that actress Jodie Turner-Smith will take on the role for the Kraven film. So the 17 copies of this moved, and a CGC 9.2 sold for $100. Rank 4, we have Submariner number 13 from 1969. This is the first appearance of Gargantos. While we haven't had a confirmation on Namor appearing, speculation has moved on to this book after rumors of actress Yennefer Molina playing the role of this very obscure character, who's a squid, by the way, in Doctor Strange, the new Doctor Strange movie. This rumor made it sell 17 copies and had a high sale of $237.50 for a CGC 9.2. Interesting. Giant. So Gargantos is a giant squid.
I guess.
I did not know that. Rank 3 of Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures number 6. I think Kyle made this a pick of the week. This issue features the first appearance of Tau Bata, Leos Gaiasi, and Affy Hollow. And this week saw significant heat with 42 copies selling and a high sale of $20 for a raw. At rank 2 is Moon Knight number 3 from 1980. This issue is the first appearance of Midnight Man, who's rumored to appear in the Disney Plus series. This and will be played by French actor Gaspard Ulliel. While it's said that actor Ethan Hawke will take on the role of the series' main villain, we're not confirmed who. It's got to be Bushmaster. It's unknown how large of a role Midnight Man will play. Regardless, this news lit a fire under his first appearance. Sold 16 copies and had a high sale of $950 for a CGC 98. That's crazy. That is
It's the
crazy.
wacky.
For Moon Knight number 3, that doesn't make any sense. Number 1 is Usagi Yojimbo, number 20, the second print from 2021, with a new recurring character, Yukichi Yamamoto. Moved 39 copies and had a high raw sale of $20. So fantastic. What kind of good stuff we got in the bottom 10?
All right, let's get her warmed up here with number 11. We've got Earth 2, number 19 from 2014. As previously noted, Michael B. Jordan and his production company are developing a Val-Zod Superman project at HBO. This helped Val-Zod's first appearance jump up this week. It sold 12 copies, 7-day trend up 152%, and a massive high sale of $1,000 for a CGC 98. Wow.
Jeepers.
Wolverine 1 from 1988. Wolverine books are on the move again for a solo series. Sold 16 copies and had a high sale of $529 for a CGC 98. Basilisk at number 13. Basilisk number 1, second print, 2021. Obviously, this just came out. This under-ordered second print was a holdover again this week and sold 27 copies, 7-day trend of 91%, and a high sale of $125 for a CGC 9.8.
Has to be like a pre-order, right? Because there's no way they got a CGC turned around on that fast.
I'm thinking because chances are right now it's like well, they could have paid the money to have it expedited, which would have been probably half of their $125 by the time you factor in shipping. Note for all of you kids at home, don't do that if you don't need to. Just wait the 6 months. Number 14, Avengers 269 from 1986. The Kang train is still moving. His confusing origins are multiplied with this origin of Ramatut, which also features a big battle between Kang and Immortus. It sold 14 copies and had a high raw sale of $78.
Are people going Kang crazy up in Oconomowoc?
There was a lot of Kang craziness, and it's kind of died down a little bit, but I expect it to kick back up again.
With Doctor Strange coming?
Yep. The Kang train, I guess, is what we're going to call it.
Okay, let's do
All
that.
right. Amazing Spider-Man 363 slides in at number 15. This is from 1992. A third full appearance of Carnage may not mean much. However, this issue does complete the initial Carnage 3-issue introduction. Sold 12 copies and had a high sale of $170 for a CGC 9.8. Next up, 16 here, we've got Avengers 267 from 1986. Yep, more Kang. And see, even here they say those sales may seem to be slowing. There you go. This is the first appearance of the Council of Kangs. Does not seem to be super important moving forward. Sold 23 copies with a high sale of $499 for CGC 96. Number 17, Something is Killing the Children. Number 18, Virgin 1 and 25. Even on issue 18, the variants for this scorching series continued to see heat. This 1 in 25 sold 20 copies, had a 7-day trend up 101%, and had a high sale of $60 for a raw copy. Editor's note, aka from me, this is the first issue of Something is Killing the Children that you are not able to get a retailer exclusive, I believe. It was either 17 or 18. So the 1 in 25s for these are going to become a little bit more rare as those extra 1 in 25s don't float around from the exclusive numbers. Number 18, the Kaiju Score number 1 from Aftershock. As noted, the Kaiju Score is in development with Sony Pictures. First issue continues to sell well with 17 copies and had a high sale of $199 $2.95 for a CGC 9.8. Couldn't push him for that extra nickel. It's a shame. Number 19, Fantastic Four 244. This is from 1982, the first appearance of Frankie Ray as Nova. Not that Nova. It sold 16 copies, had a 7-day trend up 115%, and a high sale of $91 for a high grade raw copy. While Frankie became a herald for Galactus, it's unknown why this book is suddenly moving. Who knows?
Right?
And number 20, the Star Wars High Republic Adventures number 6, 1 in 10 ratio by Ilyas K. I'm not going to pronounce that last name. Sales dropped to 13 copies, though, this week with a 7-day trend of 141% and a high sale of $42 for a raw copy, down from $66. These books do see a ton of copies because they only have a 1 in 10, and that's not an overly significant barrier for a lot of folks to jump in on. So they'll pay the 15, 20, $25 to get that 1 in 10, more so than they will the $25 to $50 to get a 1 in 25 from the main Marvel series. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're going to see the price for these continue to drop slowly.
Good stuff. And we got started a little late because you were handcrafting this FOC list. So why don't you take us through some of the items that you've highlighted in your email that
Sure,
should be in your email boxes right now?
it should be. From DC, we've got a couple of offerings here. The Batman Fear State Alpha number 1. This is a one-shot book, but we're still giving a good discount on it. This one is the Ben Oliver A cover, which I like Ben Oliver's art. It's kind of a cool, he's always got a cool look to it. And then the other DC offering we have is the Harley Quinn 2021 Annual. This is the Derek Chu cardstock variant. A couple of you may remember. I think it was back in like the Harley Quinn 51, 52, something like that range. Derek Chu burst onto the scene with a cover, and Derek is one of the artist that's in the Art Germ stable. He's represented by the same
Mm,
person, and I believe works with Art Germ. And you can see some stylistic similarities, but his covers always fly off the shelf from us. It's a great Harley cover, so I've got that one up there. From Dark Horse, we've got the Umbrella Academy box set. Umbrella Academy continues to be a really strong seller for us. A lot of folks really enjoyed the show. I think there was a lot of uncertainty when it first came out because people weren't familiar with the property, and it was kind of oddball characters, but in a way they're lovable and endearing oddball characters, and their interactions together and how they kind of survive. Um, is something that drew a lot of people in. So this is kind of a fun, nice, prestige um, set that you can put on your shelf as a nice slipcase, and is different than the library editions that they previously released, which I have as well. I like them. And then just continuing with that Star Wars High Republic Adventures trend, I know a lot of people have been really interested and intrigued by this particular series, especially with issue 6 having um, the new characters. So I put issue 8 in here. I thought, why not? Let the kids have the candy. And then for Image, we've got Spawn 321, the B cover by McFarlane. Very, very, I'd have to say, kind of Sienkiewicz Moon Knight-esque cover here, the way that he's in the
yeah.
back, the shadows, the cape flying up behind him. But Spawn 321, Spawn continues to be a huge seller. And for those of you that were like many of us and lamented the cheap cover stock on the Spawn books for the longest time, we can proudly say that Todd has really upped the game. There's very thick cover stock on these books now, and they're still $2.99, regardless of what I put in here with the typo of $3.99. So look at the spreadsheet, don't look at the email. This is what happens when I
Yeah,
get
I don't know how
excited
he
and I
does
want to
it.
get on a podcast. Um, from Marvel, we've got Dark Ages number 1. So that's going to be a new 6-issue miniseries. Demon Days Cursed Web, the Jenny Frison open to order variant. What can I say? It's Jenny Frison. And
Oh
then
yeah.
for you collected edition fans out there, which I know there's actually quite a few of you, we have the Spider-Man Epic, The Death of Captain Stacy. This is one that has been out of stock, I believe, and is coming back now, so jump on it. From AWA Studios, which has quietly become a really strong, um, smaller back half
Oh yeah.
publisher with great talent. This is Telepath's number one, and it's written by J. Michael Straczynski. But for me, the exciting thing is that the art is by Steve Epting. I absolutely love Steve Epting art, so um,
Oh yeah, it's
I
great.
will be getting this one for sure. And then we've got Red Room for those of you that have been on the Red Room bus, because we have the Kang train, we should probably have a bus. So this is the 1 in 10 incentive, which is obviously kind of a spoof homage to Spawn. This past Wednesday, we had the Red Room, was it issue 3 that came out? And that was, I think the 1 in 25 ratio was a spoof on TMNT number one. It's definitely getting hot. So these books are, it's a compelling kind of horror twisted story, but a lot of folks like the covers as well. So those are what I kind of called out this week.
Fantastic. Now let's take a look at some of the DC items that are in the FOC. Always nice to take a look at some of these. They do some great covers. I mean, I'm looking at that Batman Fear State Alpha, Dylan Teague. That's pretty stellar.
Yeah, and DC, because they technically release their books on Tuesdays, they're considering this a 5 week month. So we're getting a lot of annuals. We've
Uh,
got Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Harley Quinn, Suicide Squad, The Midnighter. We have all of those.
Now the Batman Fortnite Zero Point Batman Day Special Edition. Is that going to have any kind of code in it?
It's a great question. Let's see what we can find out here. I'm going to go into the back end of Lunar and see what they tell us.
So it's 625 for you to get a bundle of 25 of them. I don't think they're going to have a code in it. I would say no to that. That
Yeah,
would be my
yeah, they
guess.
didn't have anything posted internally, and they don't have anything on the solicit either. So I'm going to guess no, but it's kind of been the craze lately. So I guess fans are going to want to grab it, complete their set.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of Batman Day stuff.
Yes.
Is that significant as far as sales for you on that day?
Um, Not really. I'll be honest, not really. It's
Yeah.
We get stuff, we
I
put it
mean, I
out,
would
but it's nothing like Free Comic Book Day or any of that kind of
Black
stuff. Yeah,
Friday or
right. Yeah, our
and
our
then
25% off back issue sales draw a lot more interest than Batman Day.
yeah, I can imagine. Now about local comic shop day, did that do anything that moved the needle?
Yeah, that usually does, because for local comic shop day, uh, the products that come out that are specific to it are actually a little bit more prestige. So you're looking at, $5 and $10 books that are, well, like that Somebody's Killing the Children foil treatment, um, certain collected editions
Yeah.
that only come out with a cover for local comic shop day that are limited. So there's just more prestige put around it. And it's all publishers, so you have a wider base you're drawing from. I mean, if you've got customers that don't really like superhero comics, Batman Day is really not going to rock their socks off.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
so, yeah.
And then from Scout, we've got Corset number one. This has got a 4.99 price tag, but you're selling it for 2.99, so that's quite a nice discount for
I'm a
Scout.
nice guy. What can I say?
Unless it's really 3.99 and you're just gouging
It's
me.
not. I would never dream of doing that. Trust the spreadsheet.
And then we have Impossible Jones as well, which is a little looks a little more all agey to me, but might be good.
Hmm.
It's not part of the Scoot line, so I don't. It must not be all agey. Got a dark horse. I'm not seeing a lot. Last Flight Out. Trying to get that wing to pop up here and populate. Mark Guggenheim is the writer. Eduardo Ferragato doing the art.
Let's see. One thing I was toying with putting in the email for those of you that are Sonic the Hedgehog fans, they have an encyclopedia that's coming out. There's a deluxe and just a regular edition. Um, Sonic fans are they are strong fans. The
Also rabid.
right, exactly. The deluxe edition comes with an exclusive mosaic cover, a clamshell case featuring a gold foil ring, and a folio housing two archival gallery prints of Sonic and Dr. Eggman. So those are the add-ons you get, or you could just get the regular hardcover, and I don't think anyone's going to complain about that either.
No. Now Image has got a beauty one shot, so very cool to see them go back to beauty a little bit. It's the original creators, Jeremy Hahn and Jason Hurley, that are doing this. It's 48 pages, and they're saying this is the finale. That's sweet. I'm glad. I'm super glad to see more beauty because it's a great series. So, 4.99, 48 pages. Jump on that, Drew. Jump on that. I will.
I will mark you down for one. Um, I've got the second issue of Mirka Andolfo's Sweet Paprika. The first one sold pretty gosh darn good. A
Oh
lot of people
yeah.
looking forward to that.
What's Stefan Sajic's cover B look like? Oh, he's so good. He's so talented. I think if I wanted to draw like anybody, it'd be him.
Oof. Hmm. I don't know.
There's so many. There's so many you could choose from, for sure.
Yeah, I guess if I could draw like anyone, I would probably want to draw like George Perez. If I
Yeah,
could paint like anyone, I'd probably want to.
he's
I'd probably
good.
want to paint like Alex Ross.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
All right, so we already talked a little bit about Spawn 321. Hey, there's a Spawn 321 coming up. But right after that is Stray Dogs trade paperback. Now, those of you that are customers of Cowabunga might be saying, wait a minute, didn't I hear rumblings that you have a Stray Dogs exclusive trade coming out? And you would be right. And then you'll say, well, why isn't it on the sheet? And I will tell you, because we have very few left to pre-sell and we're selling them all through shopcowabunga.com. There are color cover and just a literal handful of sketch covers left that are limited in their print runs. So if folks listening want the Stray Dogs trades, whether you're a customer of ours or not, shop Cowabunga with a K, .com has them available for you while supplies last.
Well, supplies. That's fantastic though, that you've sold through that quickly. That's
Yes. Yep.
amazing. Hats off.
And we have something fun lined up because there's supposed to be a Stray Dogs one shot coming out, which we will have cover two as well.
Oh wow, that's great.
That has not been solicited yet, though, so it's a couple months out. But yes,
So keep it under your hat.
those of you listening, you've got insider info here.
There we go.
In fact, let's see.
What is why is Fantastic Four a big deal? Is this like an anniversary issue? 35.
Let me scroll down to it. Yeah, I believe this is. the 60th anniversary.
Okay. 60. Okay, that's fine. Let's celebrate that with a $10 book. Last Annihilation, Wiccan and Hulkling #1. I gotta take a look at this bad boy here. Ooh. Anthony Oliveira, I'm not familiar with that person. That's awesome, Eric. I am seeing the Stray Dogs cover, but you can't see it yet. Haha. That's cool.
So we've got a Moon Knight second print here, the Steve McNiven cover, and then a
Hey, it's
JRJR
different too.
um, ratio second print, and that's the
Ouch.
sketch version of the was the 1 in 100, 1 in 200, whatever the large ratio was for Moon Knight 1. But I have to ask you, Drew,
50. Yeah.
do you like this cover?
The
Yeah,
JRJR? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I
I mean, I like the original. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the sketches, but it's still kind of neat.
yeah, I guess I just meant the image in particular. For some reason, I just feel like there needs to be something in the jawline. Like it just didn't feel right to me.
A little too moon faced.
Yeah,
No pun intended.
yeah, literally, and yeah. But I
Yeah.
loved on the first
Yeah.
issue. I loved the Sienkiewicz Hidden Gem. Oh man, that was a great cover.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was a good issue.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Sinister
Of course, I get excited with Midnight a lot. So
Sinister War wraps up its fourth issue, and kind of hot on its heels down below that, we have the Sinister War trade being solicited as well. So if you were kind of sitting that out,
uh,
waiting for the collected edition, now's your chance to jump.
we've got an Ultimate Comics Fallout #4 facsimile.
Nothing important happened in that
If you
issue. Just move along. Nothing to
were,
see here.
so that's First
Right.
Miles Morales, and if you remember, Amazing Fantasy facsimile when it came out did gangbusters and on the secondary market. I don't know if they'll not keep this in print,
They probably
but
won't. I don't think there's any of those facsimiles other than the ASM 300 that they went back to print on, and they said they're not going back
yeah,
to reprint the ASM
yeah.
300 a third time. So, yeah, this is probably a long hold, I think is the best way to put it in spec terms, right? This is probably something that, if you want to speculate on it, you'll buy a handful of them, but don't expect to cash in significantly for 3 years plus.
Unless you're a shady eBayer
Oh my God.
who sells facsimiles for what was the facsimile that sold for nine
That
hundred
was the Werewolf
dollars?
by
What was
Night
that?
32 because nowhere in the description or the title did they put facsimile, and I'm sure that whatever suckers were bidding on it didn't bother to look at the price stamp on it that's at 3.99.
Oh my goodness. It was like $900,
Yeah,
right?
it wasn't you, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. No. But I just oh man. Buyer beware, right?
Right.
It happened to me. I bought something thought was an expiring auction for a CGC comic that I wanted, and it was like under $20. I was like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna hop on this, and CGC 98. That's amazing. I'll get that, and there was like after I won because it was so close to the deadline. It was actually CGC. You can CGC this
Hey,
was the reason it popped up on my search, and I was like, oh Jesus, you're an
good
idiot.
news. I can CGC it.
Thank you, thank you. Now I bought just a raw copy. Okay, buyer beware. My fault.
Good times.
Oh, we got Dead Box #1. from Vault Comics. This is Mark Russell doing the writing, and Ben Tiesma on art. Welcome to the town of Lost Turkey, where the main source of entertainment is a cursed DVD machine that seems to know more about the fate of its citizens than they do. I think this sounds fantastic. I'm all about this one. I think this is going to be great.
I want further definition of what DVD machine alludes to. Is it a DVD player? Is it a red box that gives you DVD? Like that come on now.
Oh, oh yeah, or is it a replicator? What is it
Jeez,
exactly?
DVD box. I'm guessing it has to do with Redbox, Dead Box being the name of
Yeah,
it.
it makes sense. Yeah. And Dynamite's relaunching Red Sonja again. This time with Mirko Andolfo doing the writing.
And good news, they've got, a couple of covers to choose from.
Yeah. And the cosplay is amazing.
Okay, who is it today?
She's gorgeous.
Oh, I think she's done a couple of covers before.
Yeah, yeah. And then we've got a Red Room's going back for a second printing on number 1 that sold through, and it's a sketch cover, but I don't know if it's the sketch cover of the original cover or not. I'm assuming it is.
I'm
but
hopeful.
It might be new.
Yeah.
It might be new content. Who knows? Night of the Cadillacs from Scout is a Jeff Hearns book. In the Spirit of Lost Boys and Warriors. Old school. Aftershock is putting out Almost American #1. It's a Ron Mars written book. Looks pretty
Based
good.
on the real life story of real life spies.
Could be fun.
I think so.
White goes to a third printing for #1 and the second printing for #2, and they can shove them all up their ass because they allocated
2 per
the
store.
first one
Yeah,
that I
really
pre-ordered.
cheesed off a lot of people.
I hope they go belly up. And that's all I see in FOC. We'll leave it on a high note there.
Sounds good.
Low note. Yeah. And let's slide over to the Hot 10 from the good folks over at Comic Book Invest. #1 is X-Men #1, the J. Scott Campbell variant, limited to 2,500. Is amazing. Is a really, really nice looking cover with negative space and a green cover, and it's going for 200 to 250. I don't know what you would have to pay for it. I don't remember this one at all. Was this through his website, or was this through stores like you?
Pretty sure it's through his website.
Yeah. Infinite Crisis #5 comes in at rank 2. Blue Beetle casting puts interest back in this Yo-Yo book. $60 plus. I don't know what that means, Yo-Yo book.
Price goes up and down. Fluctuates significantly.
Oh, yeah, I should have been able to suss that out.
Hey, I'm here to help you through these challenging times.
With the English language, thank you. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Annual 2021, the Zach Howard San Diego Comic-Con variant. It's going for $100. This one is an incredible one. Thought it looks like a Finch cover. I can see that. It's really nice. So hats off to whoever that is. Who is that? Zach Howard. Keep an eye out for his stuff. Rank 4, we have Star Wars High Republic Adventures #6, the Nick Brokenshire San Diego Comic-Con variant. How did you get these since there wasn't a Comic-Con?
Heck if I know. We didn't get them. Um, at the convention, you have to go to the booths to get them. So I don't know if those who went to
Right.
Comic Con at home um, probably had access to them, which is, that's fine. Unfortunately, we were running a store, so we couldn't sit down and do it.
Isn't Comic Con at home
Yep.
virtual? Wasn't it
Yeah, but they
virtual?
had like virtual
Well, then
booths
how the?
that you could go to, and I think you could buy product in the booths.
Oh, okay. There you go. I gotcha. Anyway, there's another San Diego Comic Con variant, and this one's going for 70 to 80 bucks. Rank 5, we have Silk number 5, the 1 in 25, Judy Jong, that you can get through could have got through comic
Sure
shops.
could have.
This is going for $70. Um, Silk's like a stealth selling comic, you
Hmm.
know. People seem to be digging it, and it seems to have its fan base, and it's nice. Rank 6, we have the all new Hawkeye number 5, the Cheeky Ogaki variant. I love this. This is awesome. I'm sure I didn't see this cover, or I would have been tempted. This is going steadily from 45 to 60 and is now $75. When did this happen?
This one, I can get you the specifics. Just please hold.
Let me Google this.
Insert cheesy hold music here. All new Hawkeye number 5 came out in 2015, September 16th,
Oh,
2015.
that's okay. Okay, that I can understand why I missed that one.
And note, exceed
Because
100% of orders for all new Hawkeye number 2 with orders for all new Hawkeye number 4. In this variant is order all you want.
wow,
Glad we don't play
that
those
was
games
back in the
anymore.
days when they did those.
Yeah.
Do you miss
Oh,
those
terribly.
that math?
Oh, yes, having to have spreadsheets just to order a friggin' book.
Oh wait, what did we? Let's go back. What did we order? Okay.
I don't miss that at all. Thank you, Marvel, for listening to us and not making us do that.
At rank 7, we have X Factor number 6. 9.6s are now in the $250 to $260 range. 9.8s are going for $725. Both of which are 3 times what they were just at the beginning of the year. Not sure what the urge is to get this, as Apocalypse has already been in a movie. There's no way he'll be back for at least a decade, right? Yeah, I sold mine a long time ago. Rank 8, we have Spider Gwen number 27, the Yasmin Putri variant. Very beautiful, very very
This one
nice.
came out in December of 2017 and was a meter exceed 150% of orders for Spider-Gwen 23 with orders for Spider-Gwen 27 regular cover. And this variant is order all you want. Uh,
That's it is really nice. It is really nice, but the things you have to go through to get there.
mhm.
My goodness. Jason Latour wrote this. I forgot about his run. So this has doubled this in price this week, up to $40 to $45. Stunning cover. Just doesn't seem to be extremely available at the moment. You might still be able to find this one though, as it wasn't an incentive, but may have had some qualifiers to order. Yeah,
Maybe.
we just heard some of those. Yeah,
Please comment if you know for sure. Take
it.
this as a comment. I know for sure.
Here's the Marvel Tales Miles Morales number 1, Josh Way 1 in 50 variant I'd mentioned last week, saying I wasn't sure if this was one of those Miles covers that was going to pop with people. Well, it is selling for $100 plus, so enough people like it that there must be some appeal there. Miles on the cover, when you get his face, people seem to dig it sometime. And at rank 10, we have Spider Man Unlimited number 1. This is written by Tom DeFalco with Ron Lim. I remember this book. There were stacks of these in dollar bins. Was $10 to $15 with $175 9.8s. Now there's $20 to $30 with $225 9.8s. Most people thought the Venom 2 trailer looked pretty good, and when a character shows up in a trailer like Shriek, there is always added interest.
Yeah, just the
Um,
Maximum Carnage set itself is always a huge seller if you're, out digging in
oh
bins
yeah,
and you see random issues at good prices, just snag them and wait till you can complete a set, and then that's a good turnaround. And it's a good run
oh
too.
yeah, oh yeah. In the honorable mention category, we have the Me You Love in the Dark #1, the Scotty Young 1 in 25 variant. It's going for $35 plus. Not a huge jump. Tons of store variants for this one. Some of them are incredible. This might be the next Stray Dogs. And
I
the
I can
old
tell you I don't
school.
think it will be the next Stray Dogs for the simple fact of how many were pre-ordered because it's Scotty Young. And
Ah,
that's what drove
yeah.
Stray Dogs, especially Stray Dogs #1 through the roof, was the very small print run.
And the old school comic is Silver Streak #2. It's a 10 center. This is a 1.8 with a detached cover that sold for $2,300, which is 80% higher than what a copy in grade sold for last year. It's I don't. What's the appeal here? Just an old comic.
It's an old Demon comic. Demons on covers tend to
Demon,
always drive up prices. Yep,
demon, demon covers. Okay, so I did not know that subset. There you
yep.
go.
So like when you look at those old, non-superhero covers, they can be influenced by a couple of different things. Cover artist is a big one, so like Schomburg covers are always, in demand. Bondage covers are always in demand, and
Yep.
then demons.
Nazi covers.
Demons tend to be a very big one because they were just the art really pops on a lot of them. So those are kind of the biggies to go for. And then yeah, you see Nazis on covers too when you get around wartime. But yeah,
Fun stuff. Fun subgenre. Now let's take a look at sneak peek at next week, and let's see what Lunar has when it comes to DC items.
well, they've got a Batman '89 #1.
That looks pretty good. Am I just all nostalgia geeky because I'm looking forward to reading this, or is anybody else interested in this?
There's a number of people
Is it,
interested,
is it
and it could be a lot of it just being the nostalgia, but you're not the only one.
do you bring in a ton at the
Yes.
store? Yeah. There's the Batman Urban Legends #6 cover C Ejikuri variant. Very nice.
See here.
And then, of course, I marvel at all of the Liebermejo cover bees. He does great work. I love
Yeah, he
this.
does.
So good. So that's Detective 1041. And I don't know. I just don't know why they don't pop. I don't know why they don't pop. Um, I buy a handful of them, and I just assume that they were going to go nuts, but people don't seem to gravitate to them like I do.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they do, just because there is a real, I don't know what's the right way of putting it. There's an appeal to the covers. There really is.
Yeah, yeah. And the Dan Mora cover A is not too
Oh
shabby.
no.
Or Batman special editions for Free Comic Book Day. Take a look at that. Or the Suicide Squad Free Comic Book Day book. So you'll get those, but we won't get those, right? Oh no, it's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, 14th.
14th. It's gonna be weird not being in May, but I will get all my books. That's pretty sweet, right?
Yes,
My order was placed back in December.
you shall get your books.
King Shark on the cover of. Is that right? Is that who that is? Is that King Shark? Are there other sharks?
I got distracted. Suicide Squad King Shark. What else do we have here?
Hardware Season 1, number 1 of 6 launches. How did Static sell for you at
Yeah,
all?
Static sold really, really well.
That's good.
That I Am Batman Zero. I instantly have to check out the Derek Chew cover.
It's
That's pretty
nice.
cool. Dave Wilkins is really good too. I like the electric blue.
Is Joker a limited series or not?
No, Joker's an ongoing.
Okay, well, we need to get through the storyline then. Hopefully, this does it.
Got Nice House on the Lake with a third printing for number 1, and the cover continues to get kind of ripped and shredded back. And then right behind that, we have Pennyworth number 1.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm
I
I'm
never, I
interested
never
in this
saw
one.
the show. Did you watch the show
I
on? Was it FX?
I did
Maybe.
not, but I kind of like the spy, James
Yeah.
Bondy kind of stuff. So I'll probably be checking that one out.
Rorschach's getting close to the end with a 11 of 12. And Wonder Woman. Good stuff there too.
Yeah,
All right, let's slide over to
previews world.
Diamond's previews world and take a look at what Image has coming up. 6th issue of A Man Among Ye.
We got Bitterroot.
Silver Coin number 5. 6 Sidekicks number 3. That was fun. The first 2 were good issues. I enjoyed those a lot.
Yes, in Dark Horse we have Masters of the Universe Revelation number 2. This series has been a big favorite of folks, and it's obviously the prequel to the upcoming Netflix show, so that's definitely a big one for folks to get.
Is that the Kevin Smith thing?
Yes. And then we have the number 1 issue of Unbelievable Unteen's World of Black Hammer. And this is Jeff Lemire and Tyler Crook.
IDW has Star Wars High Republic Adventures Monster Temple Peak. The Monster of Temple Peak, number 1, a 4-issue miniseries. Does this promise to have anything new and exciting in it? Ty York in her first comic appearance.
Here you go.
I mean, I don't know who Ty York is, but
Sounds expensive.
This is her first. Smells like money to me. Star Wars High Republic Adventures. The Monster of Temple Peak. This could be the longest sneak peek pick of all time if I pick it. Temple Peak. Jesus, that's a long one. Holy moly. Let's see. Marvel has the Avengers Tech On, number 1 of 6. Black Cat's annual went to his second printing.
Yes.
That doesn't happen a lot.
Let's see what else we have here.
Defenders #1 of 5. This is Al Ewing doing this? Yeah.
Oh, dang it. That's right. I forgot. They don't show you ratio variants.
Well, not on the site that I'm on. You might have access to that sort of thing.
Well, I just, if you go under new releases and then go to new printings and variants, they're all mixed and matched in there.
Then there's this Star Wars High Republic #8, which is the one you had mentioned.
Let's see here. X-Men Legends has been a strong seller for us. We got issue 6 coming out. And a lot of people look forward to that every issue.
What's the appeal? It's just a well done book?
Yeah, it's Peter David, so obviously there's some good provenance there as far as the X-Men stuff goes, and I think people just kind of like the nostalgic feel.
Nice. Dynamite gives us plenty of Betty Page, a lot of Kiss Phantom Obsession, and there's a photo variant, which would be fun. I used to think Kiss were pretty cool, dude, back in the day.
What else we got here? Boom's kind of got some ongoing stuff with 4th issue of Eve, the 2nd issue of Mamo, Mighty Morphin 10, kind of keeping their ship a rolling. What else we got? Let's see what's in the back half here. Blood Skulls and Chrome #2 from Second Sight. The first issue was a quick sellout for us.
Oh, good.
Yeah, kind of a biker gang book kind of thing. Folks really seem to be drawn in by the cover.
Aftershock gives us Campese #1. And BMS is giving us Cinnamon #1. It's a 3-issue series.
He's your perfectly ordinary average house cat.
Yeah, he looks crazy.
Like most house cats.
Yeah, that's true.
What else? We have Gin Hunter #1 from Black Box. That's a pretty cool cover. Cosmos is in chaos.
What is it? What is a gin again? Is it like a
sort of a? The only word that's coming to mind is sprite, and I don't think that's the right term.
like magical powers?
Yeah, it's like all that's coming into my head is like wood nymph and a sprite, but that's not right.
Yeah. A lot of manga. Laurel and Hardy meets the Three Stooges. Oh, that's a CGC. Forget it.
So we got
Heavy Metal gives us Never Never #2.
Yeah, boy, that first one was a $30 book right off the bat. Oh, it's a great cover. Holy cow.
Yeah, their stuff sells pretty, does well.
I don't know if we had that cover when we put our order in. Maybe we did, and I just saw it, 2 inches tall.
I don't remember it.
Dang.
I don't remember it. It's nice, isn't it? It's going to sell well.
Yeah, Heavy Metal is really, really coming into it. I know Tim Seeley jumped in to the editorial seat, and I don't know if that's part of it, but boy, they've really been turning out some killers lately. And for those of you that want to,
it just seems like they're more prolific.
I was going to say, those of you that want to find something pretty crazy price wise. Take a look at Heavy Metal 300 on eBay. Any cover.
So you just go nuts.
You won't see it. You won't believe it unless you see it.
Well, I'm just gonna have to go
You
now.
should. Don't
You're
worry.
not gonna tell
I'll
me.
keep the mic warm while you're looking. Let's see. For those Pokemon fans, we have Pokemon Sword and Shield Volume 1.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Like they're all 200
Yep.
plus. Golly,
So if anybody out there sees a Heavy Metal 300 in the wild, no matter what cover,
just grab
snag
it.
it.
Well, that's I don't know. It's a weird week. Yeah, not a ton of
Ooh, Space
stuff.
Pirate Captain Harlock
Uh,
number 3 coming out from a Blaze.
there you go.
That's been a very strong seller for us as well. In white number 2,
Ablaze is doing some good stuff. Yeah, I'm ignoring that one.
I know you are.
I'm pouting.
I, I
I'm gonna take my ball and go home.
I can't let it end on that, so I have to find something else. We can't go out with you pouting.
uh,
Skip and Loafer Volume 1 there. I don't know what that is, but we have a Skip and Loafer Volume 1, and that should make you smile.
yeah. All right. Well, I will, as the guest, I'll give you first dibs on picking your sneak peek of the week, your pick of the week,
Oh,
whatever it is.
boy, oh boy, oh boy. Um, ooh, boy, this is tough.
It is tough. It is tough.
Am I allowed to pick ratio variance or not?
No.
Damn it. I'm, hmm, I'm being pulled to something we didn't even talk about. All right, I'm going to make it easy on
Okay.
myself. I'm going to go with Never Never number 2.
Never, never, number two.
But
Yeah.
my
I
sleeper
like.
is Daredevil 33.
And why is that?
I don't know. I just have a feeling.
But you don't.
I,
Okay. What does the solicit say? What sparked that?
um,
Or is it just the look of it?
the look, it says lockdown continues. Electro faces her greatest challenge as Daredevil, as a serial killer is on the loose in Manhattan and killing innocent people. But even the deadliest assassin in the Marvel Universe is at somewhat of a loss because this killer can be in more than one place at one time. A team, a mutant, or something else entirely. Whoever, whatever they are, they have a thirst for blood, and Electra will put herself directly in their sights. I don't know. It's just something with the A cover looks important.
Wow. Well, I'm going to go with Star Wars High Republic Adventures, the Monster of Temple Peak #1 of 4. And I'm going to run out of characters. I'm not going to be able to put this on Twitter. But that's my pick. And Eric, once again, appreciate you very much for filling in, and thank you for jumping on and helping us out. Can How can they reach you?
Oh man,
They want to reach out and
yeah,
get on the mailing
yeah.
lists.
If you want to get added onto the mailing list, you can. I think you might still have the link for the form in the show
I
notes, but
do.
if that
Yep.
proves to be difficult or you just want to skip it, you can email me, Eric, ERIC, at cowabungacomics.com. And that's probably the quickest and easiest way. I would encourage everyone to look us up on Facebook. We are Cowabunga Comics, or I think it's facebook.com/Incredicow. I am, yeah, I think cow is with a C on that one. We inherited all of this, so it's kind of a mishmash. But um, you can look us up on Facebook, and you'll get up to date information on if there's new stuff that's coming into the store. We got new collections. We've got like this weekend when this episode goes up, you'll be listening to it going, "Damn it! I didn't realize that the John Jackson Miller signing was happening at Cowabunga Comics on Saturday from noon to 3." But it is. But you'll get to see stuff like that. And then the other thing is, if you have a passing interest in seeing what exclusive covers we have available, what team variants are available from DC, and what Bad Idea comics are currently available, you can head over to shopcowabunga.com and check those out.
Fantastic. All right, we want to thank you all for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
See ya.
Bye bye.